What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Believe in NFL Draft Prospects podcast. I'm Joe DeLeone. No Ryan Roberts today. He will be back for the next and final NFL Combine recap for day 4, which is the defensive backs. And then we're probably going to do, a couple full overarching reactions, maybe just one to talk about how the group did, things that you need to know, what are some of the headlines coming out of the Combine. But I'm going to be recapping day 3. This is going to be a lot shorter of an episode than usual just because it's only me talking about these guys. And day 3 was the defensive linemen and the linebackers. Now, on day 2, we were all hyped up and excited by the performances of these offensive linemen who had really, really good testing numbers and these running backs who ran way faster than we expected. And then here come the defensive linemen to start out, who managed to vastly exceed not only my expectations, but the performances of the athletic freaks that we saw on the previous day. And I of course, have to start by talking about Jordan Davis from Georgia. And if you didn't see it, you got to go watch this guy run. 6'6". He's 341 pounds, 34-inch arms. He runs a 4.78 for a player of that size with a 32-inch vertical, 123-inch broad. So for some context, I don't know if anyone remembers when Vita Vea came out of Washington, ends up being a highly drafted first-round pick, and we know the impact that he has for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I'm not comparing the two to one another, but Vita Vea ran a 5.11 at 346 pounds, and I think he's listed at 6'4", so he's a little shorter than Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis is that much faster than a guy that we freaked out when he ran a 5.1140. Jordan Davis is an athlete on another level, and he kind of has fit into this spot in the middle of the first round, late in the first round. I would argue that level of athleticism might be enough for him to go in that same range where Vita Vea was drafted in the first round. He's a space eater. He's a big guy. He's there to take up blocks, but you almost wonder, can you get a little bit more out of him with that level of athleticism? It's just having someone who's that physically dominant at that size is so unnatural to see. And we talk about the RAS scores. Kentley Platt does a great job with that. We talk about that on the show a lot during the Combine coverage. And Kentley Platt put out there that Jordan Davis had the second all-time highest ever RAS score. And the first is Calvin Johnson. Think about that for a second, that he is competing and slightly behind ahead of every other athlete that's ever done a combine. And the only guy that he's behind is Calvin Johnson. Heck, I would be lining up Jordan Davis at tight end if he was willing to do it with that level of athleticism. But yeah, Jordan Davis, easily the biggest talking point. And it's not also just those athletic numbers. You see him in the drills. He's running and moving like a linebacker, like a heavy linebacker. He's able to transition and move in these various drills. He pops up off the ground so quickly in these reaction drills that they have the defensive linemen doing. But I think more people need to be talking about Jordan Davis because it's unnatural to see what he did. Devante Wyatt also ends up having the best 40-time forward defensive lineman, his teammates. And he, just barely edges out Jordan Davis, which again, it's so crazy again to think that Jordan Davis was able to do what he did, and he's the second guy out of all the defensive linemen amongst a group of guys that are a bunch of them are a lot smaller than he is. But Devante Wyatt, who is on the smaller side, 6'3", 304, that's obviously not small, but smaller than Jordan Davis. He had a really good performance at the combine as well, and he's somebody who is in that first round discussion as a defensive tackle to be selected in the first round. Amongst the other defensive linemen, and I guess you can include the edge guys because that's who they worked out with. Travis Jones tested pretty well. He had a pretty good 40 time. He ran a 4.92, which is pretty good for his size, but big, powerful defensive tackle that we knew that he was so good. And I just, you see that twitchiness when he does the drills, when he moves around. So Travis Jones, again, somebody who is starting to move up throughout this process. I texted Ryan. I really liked what DeMarvin Leal did during the positional drills. He didn't test as well, I think, as we would have hoped, because like you look at that 5-second 40-yard dash being on the lighter side at 283 is not that good to see. Only a 27.5-inch vertical, 106-inch broad, and then a 4.49 in the 20-yard shuttle. But what was redeeming for DeMarvin Leal that I got from him was he just moved way better than the rest of those heavier defensive tackles, and I think he worked out with that first group of the big body guys, and he just you could see a difference. And there is that conversation of, is he a tweener? Where does he fit into this class? But you can see that he's got the size of being a defensive tackle, but has that ability to move as if he was an edge rusher. The edge guys, though, that we need to give some nods to. Kvon Thibodeaux decides not to do the positional drills. He runs a fantastic 40 time. He runs I believe it was a 4.58, which is a great number for him. And I believe he threw up 27 reps on the bench for a guy with pretty long arms to do that. Another great number for Kvon Thibodeaux. And he decides not to do the positional drills. And I kind of think that was a decision where there's been so many comparisons to him and Aiden Hutchinson. And Aiden Hutchinson they were both supposed to kind of run in that 4.6 range. That was kind of like we've mentioned on the show. We've talked to Ryan about it off air. We were kind of speculating what he was going to run, and we thought that it was going to be fairly similar because they're built pretty similarly. There's supposed to be that comparative, athletic twitchiness to them, and that's why they're both being possibly mocked as either the first player off the board or the first edge rusher off the board. And instead, what we get from Kvon Thibodeaux is that he runs significantly faster than Aiden Hutchinson. Not significantly, but a good chunk faster than Aiden Hutchinson, who he ran a 4.74, which is slower than kind of what we were all expecting, which makes it pretty interesting to see that. He does end up going with a 6.73 3-cone, which is really good, and then a 4.15 short shuttle, 36-inch vertical for Aiden Hutchinson. But I think Kvon Thibodeaux in this circumstance said, I'm going to prove that I'm faster and stronger than Hutchinson, and then I'm just going to dip. And he didn't really need to go out there and show how well he was going to move in those positional drills. He's probably going to wait until his pro day. Let Aiden Hutchinson go out there and show what he can do. But Kvon Thibodeaux, I think, knew that he earned his money by running faster than him. And I know edge rushers you don't need a fast 40 time to be successful. But I bet that was the goal, was just go out there and run and then let everyone else speculate when he has better athletic testing numbers in those two categories. Last guy from the edge group that I'd like to mention, Amare Barno from Virginia Tech. And if you guys remember, Ryan brought up Amare Barno, and I believe he was his edge pick for the competition that we did for whoever was going to have the most total, best total RAS scores. He picked him for his edge guy. And I think we were expecting fast. I think we were expecting athletic. But at 246 pounds, he runs a 4.36. This is somebody who's like a mid-round guy who maybe somewhere on day 2, but that number is really going to help him. You get a lot of the other athletic testing for him that looks so good. 37-inch vertical, 131-inch broad jump, and then a 4.45 20-yard shuttle. That is, and I talk about twitchiness with edge rushers all the time. That is an extra level of athleticism and twitchiness for a guy like that. And again, you see that stuff in the drills where he accelerates so quickly when he tries to cut and redirect when they're having these guys do all these movement drills. He accelerates out of those cuts so well, and you see that speed, you see that athleticism. Amare Barno, man, that was so for context, I got up when he was about to run, thinking nothing of it. I'm like, oh, he's gonna run fast time. And Ryan starts texting me, and he says to me, holy crap, Amare Barno. And immediately I rushed back to see what it was, and my jaw dropped. I thought that it was gonna be like 4.45, somewhere in that range, but 4.36 is an ungodly, unnatural number for an edge rusher. And somebody's probably going to draft him higher off of that number. Montez Sweat type numbers there with that speed. For the linebackers, big one for me that was a big winner, of course, Troy Andersen. And he's somebody who I've talked up this cycle. I always talk up my FCS guys for those that know and listen to the FCS show or have caught me doing any radio spots leading up to this. I'm always going to talk up my FCS guys. And Troy Andersen, another guy who exceeded that athletic testing expectation that I had set for him. Thought he was going to be a 4.5 guy. He runs a 4.42. His 36-inch vertical. He freaking NFL.com, man, with these blasting these ads while I'm trying to look at the numbers. Thank you, NFL.com. 4.42, 36-inch vertical, 128-inch broad. He is somebody who, as we've mentioned, played quarterback, played running back at an All-American level, transfers over to linebacker and plays that position at an All-American level. And you could still see that he's not there 100% yet on the field. But when you ask him to move amongst the group of linebackers for a guy that's that big, he looks really, really good. And I stand by that. I think Troy Andersen probably going to be somewhere on day 2 amongst a linebacker class that kind of is a little thin in the middle rounds. Last thing I do want to hit on, though, and I'm a little pissed that Leo Chenal didn't bench at the combine. I was talking him up, and we were talking him up to have some crazy bench number because of what he did in those early videos that he had where he benched 40 something times as a freshman, 225. There's a video of him doing 315 for 18 reps. And I think if he benched at the combine, he would have broke the record. So why the hell does he decide he doesn't need to bench? Because now everyone would have been talking about that. Everyone would have been hyping him up, seeing him put up those numbers and break that bench record. But he does test insanely well. He was down to 250 at 6'3", so 15 pounds lighter than that playing weight that we saw him at Wisconsin during the season. Still runs a 4.53, which is, I know that I mentioned the 4.42 for Troy Andersen. The 4.53 at 250 is equally as impressive. 40.5-inch vertical and 128-inch broad. Those numbers, we talked about with him also that he's going to be a big, show off that explosiveness, that ability to jump. Those numbers were going to be really, really good for him. And then he was just him and Troy Andersen watching them in these drills, watching them transition, cut, cover, all that stuff. It just looks so unnatural seeing how these guys move and comparative to maybe some of these other guys in this class that are going to get drafted a little bit later. And then also comparing them to the guys that are supposed to go early, like Devin Lloyd from Utah. That's going to be it from me, guys. I do want to, before I wrap up, I just want to tell you about today's sponsors. Football might be over this season, but basketball is in full steam for both pro and college hoops. From all the latest odds, totals, player performance props to where the next fired coach is going to land, BetOnline is the #1 spot for all of your sports betting needs. Head on over to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BELIEVE to get started. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline is your source for hockey, boxing, and UFC odds right to the Olympic coverage and is the best in the business. From sports right down to your favorite Vegas casino games, BetOnline is your #1 online wagering destination. BetOnline, the fastest and easiest way to wager on all of your favorite sports and play your favorite games. BetOnline, where the game starts. Also, what's more important than peace of mind? Nothing. And that's what NordVPN is here for, to give you peace of mind while you are online. And with all the threats that you face today on the internet, it is more important than ever to make sure that you have the best VPN you can get. NordVPN is the world's best VPN service, offering the fastest connectivity, most servers, and next-gen encryption to make sure that everything you do online stays secure. Plus, you can now use NordVPN on all of your computers and devices, no matter the operating system. With NordVPN's unlimited bandwidth, you never have to worry about a slow connection either. Plans start at under $4 per month. So grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/believe or use code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV to get up to 70% off your NordVPN plan plus 1 additional month for free. It's also risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Lastly, Athletic Greens. Tons of people take multivitamins, but it's important to choose one that is top quality. With one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to start your day right. Their special blend of ingredients, gut health, their special blend of ingredients supports gut health, your nervous system, immune system, energy, recovery, focus, and aging. It's also lifestyle friendly and fits a wide range of diets. There's only 1 gram of sugar and no chemicals or artificial anything. Reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day, and that's it. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/believe. That's BLEAV. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/believe. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Athletic Greens, take ownership of your health. Wow, we butchered the hell out of those. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Be sure you hit subscribe to stay up to date, and we'll talk to you later.